Hi, I'm Ashley Lewis, and I'm going to share a bit about how I see cooking as a spiritual practice. Recently, I've tried to stop compartmentalizing myself into quadrants like mind, body, heart, spirit. I think that's the way we're taught to describe what we're perceiving, but I no longer want to think of my experiences as only affecting one part of who I am. Because I realized that my entire body is processing everything that's happening to me, whether I perceive it that way or not. When I hear, smell, see, touch, and taste, those physical stimuli only register because of my brain. This allows me to think and consider what's happening to me and also to feel emotion about it. Because I believe God is present in and around me, these interactions cause my spirit to be moved. So, how can I attribute certain sensations to just one system by saying mentally, physically, spiritually, or emotionally, as if the whole collaboration of myself wasn't involved? I don't mean to suggest that that way of speaking isn't valid for some, but for me, it has caused me not to consider certain activities as spiritual practices because spiritual practice sounds like something that only engages the spiritual quadrant. And that's not how I perceive God. I can't think of another activity that allows me to perceive God better than cooking because the time that I spend cooking is time when I'm aware that my whole self, all of the quadrants, if you will, are engaged together collaboratively. During this time, I can process my thoughts and feelings. I can listen for God's voice. I can admire the beauty of createdness through seeing, tasting, hearing, touching, and smelling the ingredients being transformed into new possibilities. Of course, I still have times when cooking brings me more stress than delight. And no matter how much I love it or how important it is to me, I can't make time for cooking every single day. No one can. But that's where the discipline comes in to make it a spiritual practice for me. The promise of possibility will always bring me back to the kitchen. The idea that I can connect to God, God's people, and God's world, that I might grow and develop through the process of making a meal. The opportunity to make something enjoyable that can be shared, to demonstrate hospitality for those around me, to communicate the way I see the world, to understand the culture of others, to express gratitude for what I've been given, to make choices that at least limit how much death and destruction enters the world. And then to clean up afterwards, like nothing ever happened, and start again tomorrow. With this in mind, I say to you, beloved, you are a unique recipe written and made by a loving creator. Even when you feel disjointed, you are not living one quadrant at a time. You're a complex creation of many parts and pieces, constantly responding to God and God's world with all of who you are. So feed yourself well, share what you have, and when your plate is empty, go back to the kitchen expectantly so God can fill it up again.